Hello and welcome back, friends. If you're new around here, I'm Big Gator. If you came looking for the sharpest tennis bets, you're right where you belong. Right now we're covering the Australian Open. Yes, the second day of the first round. So get yourself involved in the comments and let me see what you're playing. And keep your eyes peeled for the pin comment if you like to follow along and bet on what I'm betting on as well. If you do like the breakdown of these matches, please give this video a like. It goes a long way. Thank you in advance. If you would like to get my picks as soon as I upload or further support the channel, consider subscribing. You can go right to the pinned comment, get the pick, and get up out of here if you'd like. Or you can watch the whole video. If you are feeling extra generous, there's a link at the bottom of my pinned comment as well if you would like to donate, as well as a link to my free Discord. We provide extra picks from the community that I have, over like 300 members. Get yourself involved, man. It's free picks. WTA as well. So if you're looking for some AO picks for the women, go there. It's free. All right. With that being said, what are we looking like for today? Huh? First round is all I can say, right? We took some risky picks. That's what I just decided to do. We went with Alexander Blocks and Flavio Cobolli. Flavio Cobolli was supposed to be an easy win. Both of them were favored to win. We took the two upsets out of the three that took place yesterday. So, fuck me, but it is what it is. We also took Francisco Comesaña to win the set spread, right? So, he got that for us, plus 100, bang. Thank you, Comesaña. Our futures are still active because none of those guys have played yet. We also had a play in my Discord. We took over 3.5 sets for Ben Bonzi and Cam Norrie, went to a 5-setter. And also Sebastian Corda over 19.5 total games. We bet on him. He still hit, but fuck, man, that was annoying. All right, we can get on to today. So our first match was going to be Mr. Nuno Borges going against Felix Auger-Alliasime. And they have played each other quite some time ago. And when I say that, I mean like a year ago. It went to a 3-setter, though, in Dubai, and Felix ended up winning in the second round. Felix is number 7 in the world right now. Don't forget, he is one of the hardest people to beat. And I don't see Nuno having a remote chance. It is minus 365 for Felix to win. Nuno finished the year with a 17-14 record, going 68% on the win rate. Felix finished the season with a 25-10. With a 59% win rate because he had a really bad season last season. But we know that Felix is good for it. We know he's good for it. I expect him to go quite far in this tournament. Since he's been healthy, he's been quite hard to beat. I don't see why this should be any different. I think that's all we got to go through there, okay? We have a lot to go through today, so I'm just going to go look at the things that are interesting to me, to be honest with you. If you wish that I spoke about it more, go into my Discord and hit me up if you have any questions, all right? We're going to move on, though. Our next match is going to be Mariano Navone going against Ahmad Medjedovic. And this is going to be their first head-to-head. Navone's been having a bit of a hard time, but he is Argentinian, and the Argentinians have been kind of getting their rep up in the tennis world over the past few months. Navone is on a 3-match losing streak, has lost since Challengers back in November. We had Medjedovic, who made it to the second round in Auckland last week, and lost to Minchik by taking a set off of him. So that was quite promising, but we knew that Minchik was kind of in better shape. So I think it's also pretty straightforward here that we can probably get Medjedovic to get the win here. As far as first round, we haven't really seen Navone get too far. He went to a 5-setter against Marcus Giron and lost. So I would think that Medjedovic would be a bigger problem for you in a Grand Slam. That's just my initial thought. He also has only played like 36 matches on a hard court, so Medjedovic with about 76 should have him beaten here. All right. He ended the season with a 6-7. Navone ended with a 5-12. So that should tell you everything you need to know. enough to bet on it if you would like to. I'm probably not going to touch it. But we can move on. Our next match is going to be Ymer or Elias Ymer going against Alexander Shevchenko. And they played once before in qualies of Mallorca on the grass. So some time ago. But just last year, and Ymer beat him in straight sets on the grass. Now, we've been kind of seeing a little bit more of Shevchenko. And he made it to the quarterfinals in Auckland. Got destroyed by Ugo and Burt, but beat Fucsovic, Jumhor, looked good. Ymer has gone through qualies here. Looked pretty alright. Has played 3 tie breaks so far, so quite intense. Dropped a set in both rounds of his last 2 rounds of qualification, so I don't know, man. This is a coin toss. Ymer is one of those people that was good when he was playing consistently. He hasn't been playing very consistently, and now you see him now in a slam. And last time we saw him was and like a challenger, but when we really saw him was in Stockholm in October, and he made it to the quarterfinals. Lost against Denis Shapovalov. He did look good. Beat his brother. I remember that. We covered that. Fernley as well. I thought Fernley would win. He didn't. So he could have some competition here. This could go over 3.5 sets. That's what I'd say. But let's move on. All right. Our next match is going to be Halys going against Alejandro Tabilo. And they've played once before also in London on the grass. Looks like they played in the qualies in 2022. Halys beat him 6-2, 6-3. Now, what's funny about Halys is when you look at his record, he's not playing all too crazy well, but he made it to the second round of Adelaide through qualies. Lost to Thomas Mahach, so it's like, okay. Lost to Nakashima back in Brisbane. It's okay. You beat Maivshak and you beat Popperin. That was a surprise, in qualies at least. So, Tabilo wasn't able to go through Dartary, but was able to get through Ugo Carabelli. I do think that Halys has a pretty good record against lefties. He only played against a few. I think it was like Cam Norrie. He played like in October, and Cam Norrie was good back in October. So I like the hard court history that he has. His form is kind of drooping, and Tabilo's is kind of rising. So I would stay away from the match, honestly. Like I'm not too concerned about who comes out of this one. 12-14 for Halys. 20-13 for Tabilo last season. Tabilo has a 3% higher win rate, so I would lean on him, but I wouldn't for sure take either one. That's just my 2 cents on it. And our next match we're going to get into, might have a second to go into this one a little bit deeper. We have our boy, Big Daniel Medvedev, going against Jesper de Jong. And this is the first head-to-head. But we've been seeing how Medvedev's been coming into 2026 undefeated. 5-0. Popped into Brisbane to get a title and said, let me get to the AO now. Let me get it popping. Had a nice little week rest. And then we have de Jong, who's 0-2 this season, coming in from Hong Kong and Adelaide, both in the first round and qualies, losing. I think this is a pretty straight-up destroy from our boy Medvedev here. What's the set spread at? -172. I don't like that. Looking for a good spread. Minus 6.5 is minus 280 for Medvedev. I don't know about the spread here. $19.5 games, under 20. That's a risky play, but I think he can do it. I think Jong. I think Jong almost beat Nakashima, right? So, at some point in time, I feel like they played each other. Yeah, they went to a 5-setter in the U.S. Open, and Nakashima beat him. He dog-walked Nakashima, so what does that tell you? Probably going to be. He went to a tiebreak with him, so he could get pushed a few sets. It's his first game, but his first game in Brisbane he went 6-2, 6-3. He might be quite unplayable right now. I think the under is going to be the one to go with. He's got a 74.8% win rate on a hard court, going against a set 64% win rate from Jong. So, very strong win percentage from Jong, but not enough. Not nearly enough. We know this is going to be an easy win for Medvedev, don't we? We don't expect the upset here. We don't expect the upset. So, with that, we'll move on. We have one of our favorites coming up. We have, who is this? Matteo Arnaldi going against Andrei Rublev. And crazy enough, they've played each other 4 times already. Twice in the hard. It's gone back and forth. It's 2-2. Rublev won back in 2023. 2024 went to Arnaldi on the clay, and then Montreal in 2024 went to Rublev, and then in Indian Wells last year went to Arnaldi. I think it's within reason to believe that maybe, just maybe, that Rublev gets his get back here, because he lost on the clay in the French Open, lost in straight sets. I think Rublev is going to win this match. He doesn't do too well, though, here, does he? But, fuck it. He's minus 385. I don't really care to bet on stuff at that number. So, one thing we can look at is his total games. We know Arnaldi will push him. So, definitely the over 20.5 for Rublev. You know he's going to be in there trying to get it in and have some errors here and there. So, I like the over 25 for him. Over 20.5, I'm sorry. And then looking at Arnaldi's season last season, he only had an 11-14 season, and Rublev had a 16-13, but he still has a 65% win rate. That's 5% over Arnaldi, which is good enough for me. Truly, it's good enough for me. And we're just kind of cruising along here, aren't we? Trying to be as quick as possible so you guys can get the gist of everything. All right. Our next match is going to be Shang. Mr. Djere Shang going against Roberto Bautista Agut. And if you don't know, Djere Shang is a lefty. This is going to be their first head-to-head. And Bautista Agut is 37 years old, so there's a 17-year difference between the two of them. Bautista Agut does have a pretty decent record against lefties though. He played Ben Shelton, lost to him in a tiebreak, second set tiebreak, and played Cam Norrie, lost to him once but beat him as well. So those are the most common lefties that you're probably going to see in the tournament. It's Cam Norrie often. Cam Norrie be there. So if they run into each other and he's gotten a win off of him, I forget which one happened first, whether he lost or he won, but he lost to him first, and then he beat him. So, Here, I would kind of think this goes to over 3.5 sets just because Jerry Shang with the leftiness and then the experience from Bautista Agut is going to probably push the game a little bit further than it needs to. It's at minus 138 for that. If there is a straight set win, it'll come from Jerry Shang. So if you wanted to do like a minus 1.5, and I actually take that back. You can't be too sure. And slams, Bautista Agut performs quite well. Made it to the semifinals in Wimbledon, bro. No, I'm sorry. That's not the Wimbledon. That was the first round. He lost to Cam Norrie there. The Queen's Club. But lost in the first round there. What did he do in the French Open? Lost in the first round of the French Open. Lost in the first round of the U.S. Open. Yeah, this is kind of the thing that he does. So maybe you take the Jerry Shang for the set handicap, minus 1.5. It's minus 168. I'm not mad at it. It's priced but if it's better priced just to have it go over 3.5 sets, and he does that at every performance he gets in the U.S. Open. So I think that we can definitely do that. But just to be safe, maybe take the Shang minus 1.5. All right, and we can move on. We know that Jerry Shang had some injury a year and some change ago, so he didn't play much last year. He was 6-8, but he has a 63% win rate with a 25-11 from the season before. Bautista Agut went 4-9 last season, so not too strong, but still has the same win rate percentage at 63%. So keep that in mind, and let's move on. And you know I'm going to love this one. We got our boy, Mr. Leonard Tien, is going to be going against Marcus Giron for a revenge match from their first head-to-head taking place back in Madrid on the clay back last year. Went to a three-setter. Tien lost 6-1, 1-6, 7-6. Outrageous stuff. Went to a third set tiebreak, but they were just breaking the shit out of each other in the first two sets. So, looking at the form that both of these guys are in, I could say this is going to be an interesting one. Tien is the favorite at minus 210. He was at minus like 130 yesterday, so maybe it would have been better to take him then, but it is what it is. Let's see what DraftKings has him at. Minus 193. A little bit better. Nothing too crazy, but a little bit better. I'm going to be taking Tien. If it's not Alex Mickelson in the way, he can do it. And Marcus Giron, he doesn't have a lot of experience on the clay, Tien, but here on the hard court, we remember the history that he's developed for himself here, beating Medvedev last time he was here. Going through, who else? Who else did he go through? Made to the fourth round, beating Mutet, Medvedev, Ugo Carabelli. Back-to-back five-setters. Yeah. I don't think you're losing to Marcus Giron. You've participated in your first slam, and you qualified. You made it from qualies all the way to the fourth round. Now you're in the first round draw. Then you go to the U.S. Open. You had to play Novak Djokovic in the first round. You took him to a tiebreak. So, as far as the hard court performances here, we know that it's a bit strong. Looking at Marcus Giron, though, how has he done on the hard courts and in slams recently? Melbourne, he made it to the third round. Beat Yannick Hoffman, Tomas Echeverry. He beat Echeverry in a five-setter. Forgot about that. And then lost to Yannick Sinner in the third round. So, then he goes to the U.S. Open, where he plays a five-setter, beats Navone, and then loses in a five-setter against Bonzi. One thing that's for sure, he always gets a set off. So, If you don't want to take Tien, actually, it's better priced to take that. Over 3.5 sets for the Tien match. It's better priced than taking Tien to win. So, honestly, the most consistent trend in this is that Tien's going to drop a set. And honestly, let's go for that. Let's go for the over 3.5. Because Giron has been playing a little bit more. And Tien played some like expedition matches like somewhere. So I don't even know where that was. I don't know if he's like well rested. He might drop a set. So I would prefer to go for the set minus 1.5 handicap. That's what I'm going to play personally. I'm not going to put that in the comments, but you know how I get down. So yeah. Tien end of the year with what? 26 and 13. Giron 13 and 14. Tien has a 75% win rate on the hard courts. Giron has a 58. So I like the minus 1.5 set spread. Tien does what I need him to do usually, so that's why I made that decision to bet on him quite consistently because he is quite consistent. All right, we can move on to our next match, which is going to be a cool one. We have Nikolai Budkov Kjaer going against Riley Opelka. Wow. Now, this is going to be their first head-to-head. The Norwegian young boy who just came from the Next Gen Finals is going against the Serb-bot 7-footer Riley Opelka from America. And he played a really good match against Tommy Paul. But the match he played against Popperin, I think that was probably like the best tennis we've ever seen from him. So, if we can get more of that, we'll see, man. Budkov Kjaer couldn't do much against big servers, and this is one of the biggest ones that are out there. As far as movement, though, that's where I think it's going to be a big hitch for him. So, you know good and damn well I'm not taking Riley Opelka to win this match in straight sets. But I do think that we'll probably get a couple tie breaks. And let's see if there's any of those on here. Let's see if there's a tie breaks over 1.5. Ooh, plus 124. I like it. Budkov Kjaer has played back-to-back tie breaks and qualies. So, going against James McCabe and Watanuki. Now, if he can hold serve, which is all he's been, I think, doing in these matches, he's going to go to at least 2 tie breaks. I think that's some good value right there, friends. Really sneaky play. I like that. A lot of aces, too, from both of them. So, in both of the matches that he played. So, I think we should get a fair amount of aces. You know, Opelka's return game has been improving, but he still can get aced on. He's a big guy. Can't move around all too much. So, I don't have much on it for the... Oh, yeah. All right. That's all I'm going to play for that. Either the over 3.5 sets or the over 1.5 tie breaks at plus 124, which will be the certified smoke if it is a play that I play. We're going to move on, though. And disappointment lingers. We have Tommy Paul going against Alexander Kovacevic. And I've made a vow to myself. And you can take this vow with me if you like. I am no longer putting money on Tommy Paul or Sebastian Korda. I can't do it. I cannot do it. Kovacevic is being more of a promise to me out here than these two guys are. And it's okay. We have plenty of other Americans. And we'll give these guys time to get their groove back. Let's just say that. We just can't do it. It's bad for business right now. It's absolutely bad for business right now. So, Tommy Paul, Kovacevic. First head-to-head. This should be interesting. We know Tommy Paul only seems to care about slams. So, We know he plays up for the slams just like Tiafoe does. I don't know what that's about. But these guys are all the same age, so maybe this is just some like cultural thing that these Americans do. They only want to win a slam, I guess, at this point in their career. So that's all they play up for. So anyway, we have Kovacevic, who's been just trying to get it anywhere he can. He's playing tennis anywhere. He's trying to just make a name for himself still. And I think that that's going to cause either a minus 1.5 set spread, a 3-1 win for Tommy Paul, or a 5-setter. So I would like to think that this goes over 3.5 sets. I would like to think that Tommy Paul has to go over his total games to win, but I'm not touching Tommy Paul, especially not in the first round. And Kovacevic's games are at 15.5. Sounds like a trap. I just can't trust it. Now looking at their stats, Tommy Paul went 13-7 last season with a 63% win rate. 13-14 for Kovacevic with a 56. I'm just not interested in. Sorry, guys. This is not the match for me. Not the match for me. So with that, we'll move on. And we have we got Fabian Marozsan going against Arthur Rinderknech. And this is going to be their third head-to-head. And peep this stat. They've played 4 sets, 2 straight set wins, one for each one of them. They've played 3 tie breaks. And this is actually a very interesting head-to-head because these guys play kind of similarly to each other. They're both tall, got good serves, and can move very well. And Rinderknech is French, so he has some interesting shot making to his bag. So far, he's played a bunch of tie breaks recently as well, and Marozsan and Minchik as well. That was his last match against Minchik. He had a first set tie break. I see this going the same way. I would just take tie breaks. And then looking at how they do in slams, right? Like, first round, both of these guys played in tie breaks. Ugo Blanchet for Marozsan and Carballes Baena for Rinderknech. So, I know that was like the U.S. Open, but still, they both recently played tie breaks as well. I kind of think that this is another little sneaky. It's not that sneaky because they've only played tie breaks against each other except for one set. So, total tie breaks is actually at plus 230. That's crazy. Who do you think wins this match? It's very even money. So, I don't know why they have that price at that. We're going to play that as fast as possible, though. I think that we're going to play that for the smoke today. Call me crazy. All right. Now let's move on. We're almost halfway through this list, guys. So if you wonder why I've been moving so fast, this is why. We're only halfway through this shit. All right, our next match is going to be Juan Manuel Cerundolo going against Jordan Thompson. Now, Juan Manuel is the brother of Francisco, another Argentinian. Like I told you, these guys be coming up out of nowhere. They're getting good. And as far as form goes, he's doing all right. He won the Guangzhou Challenger, so he has a hard court challenger, beating Tabilo, another lefty, in the process. Did lose in qualies to Elliot Spizzuri in Auckland, but Spizzuri was kind of on a heater, so that is what it is. Jordan Thompson lost to Rudionov, who everyone's been beating in this tournament and every other tournament. So that's a bad sign for him. That was his last match. That was the challenger he played earlier in France before coming over here, which is a bit odd. You're Australian. Why'd you go to France in the first? Anyway, I think Cerundolo's going to probably beat the brakes off of him. Thompson doesn't play well against lefties. He ended the season last season. He has an okay record against them, but he ended his season last season against lefties 1-7. So definitely not something I'm going to be betting on as far as Thompson. But I think Cerundolo is definitely the one to take. Let's see what he's priced at. What? He's the underdog. That's crazy. So, in a situation like this, we can take him for the plus 1.5 set spread. That means that he just has to win at least 2 sets. And I think that he can garner up at least 2 sets. Him being a lefty, I know he's going against an Australian in Australia, but he has some rank on him and a bit better of a play style. Honestly, he's not too ready for the Jordan Thompson play style. I'm sorry, Jordan Thompson's not too ready for the Juan Manuel left hand style, but he is home, so that will give him enough to kind of push him through. So this should be a long match, but I do think that we can get 2 sets from Cerundolo. All right, and this next match is going to be a bit of a whatever to me, but we got Laszlo Djere going against Stan Wawrinka. Stan the man. And this is going to be their 3rd head-to-head. Wawrinka's won 2 times. Laszlo won most recently in Belgrade on the indoor courts. Wawrinka's on a 4-match losing streak. Through all of that United Cup BS he was going through. He's still Stan Wawrinka, though. Laszlo lost to Marcus Giron, but beat Emilio Nava. That's concerning in Hong Kong. So, and Elias Ymer. I don't know about this one, guys. Over total sets, I don't know. Both these guys, this is a 30-year-old going against a 40-year-old in a Grand Slam. Like, I don't know. I'm not going to stick on this. But 1-4 for Djere last season, so terrible on the hard courts. Wawrinka, 7-5, but he's 1-4 this season. So I would just stay away and watch and enjoy Stan and root for Stan. That's about all I will be doing. I won't be doing much else. Our next match is going to be Brandon Nakashima going against Botic van de Zandschulp. Crazy name, right? And they've played each other once before on the clay in 2022. And Botic won. Tiebreak 6-3. Nakashima is the better ranked player, but you get some surprise wins from Botic now and again. Beating Yuri Lehechka 6-2, 6-2 back on the indoor courts, remember that? But losing to Riley Opelka twice in that same tournament. Like, what is that? Nakashima lost to Medvedev, but Medvedev was on crack in Brisbane, so fair enough. He took him to a tiebreak, which was like probably the closest I think anyone got to beating Medvedev. I think someone took a set off him actually, but Botic went against Bublik in Hong Kong. I would say Nakashima wins this, but I can't really trust Nakashima, so you can jump on him if you want to. Ride that bandwagon if you like. I'm probably not going to be entertaining that. He's minus 300. That's way too much. It's way too inflated. There's no way in the world he's worth minus 300. If he wins in straights, then tell me. But our next match we're going to get into is going to be Filip Misolic going against Alejandro Davidovich Fokina. And Foki. Feel bad for him. You've got the Austrian 24-year-old going against the 26-year-old Spaniard who has been improving quite some. He's in the top 15 in the world now. Going against someone ranked 82. This is their first head-to-head. I think Foki is good to go here. It's Grand Slam season. I know he's not going to win one of these, but he works hard for him. He beat Shevchenko 6-1, 6-1, 6-2 back in the U.S. Open. So, Misolic, what record does he have? Kind of forgot what he was doing. I feel like he's like a challenger level. Yeah, he hasn't been playing too hot. He looked a lot better on the clay back in what is that? Bostad on the clay back earlier last year, but haven't seen him play too well since like May or June. And then we have Foki, who has been 22-14 on the hard courts. So going against the guy Misolic 8-7, I think it's an easy decision there. But obviously we know we're going to be going with Foki, but how do we get the best value out of it? He's priced at minus 2,500. So they have his line at 19.5. You think he goes under, or you think he gets pushed? Because all that is him being pushed 2 games. So that means there's going to be at least 2 sets where he gets 7 games, right? Yeah, he has to win like 7-5, 7-5, 6-4 for this to not hit. Do you think Misolic gives him that much of a problem? The Austrian that hasn't been playing too hot on a damn near 6-match losing streak. Last person he beat was unranked and 17 years old from Australia. A qualifier. So, yeah. I think the under for Foki is good here. I could be tripping, but I think he's good to go. Now this one, I'm excited for this one. Excited to get some money out of this one. Next we have we got Kamil Majchrzak going against Jacob Fernley. If I can fucking find it. Okay. And they played once before in qualies in Stockholm, and Fernley actually beat him. But we know, Kamil Majchrzak is a baller, bro. He is a baller. He made it to the quarterfinals and took a set off Medvedev, something that we just said couldn't happen recently. And he's the one guy that did that. I think if I'm him, I feel very confident going into the Australian Open. Going against someone like Fernley, who honestly has not had a great season last season. People change things around at the turn of the new year, so we could be seeing something like that, but I don't see it with Majchrzak. I think Majchrzak wins this I think he wins it 3-1 or better. 3-1 sets better. Or 3-1 set betting or better. Fernley lost to Halys, Vukic, and O'Connell was the only win he could get here in Australia. Also losing to Dayton Sweeney, who's still technically a challenger level player. Yeah. The record and the pricing. Let's look at that real quick. $19-6 for Majchrzak, 11-10 for Fernley. Going 1-3 so far this season. Majchrzak's going 3-2. Majchrzak is minus 205 to win, so that minus 1.5 set spread must be some decent money. Almost even money. So yeah, I would say that's a good play right there. Or you can take the money line, up to you. Just a straight up money line. I don't think it goes to a 5-setter though. I think it goes to a maximum 4 with Fernley giving up a set. So. Alright, our next match. Make sure I say this guy's fucking name right. We have Thiago Agustin Tirante going against Alexander Vukic, the Australian. So another Argentinian here going against an Aussie, and we saw Mr. Vukic make it all the way to the quarterfinals in Adelaide. He looked really good, but he wasn't beating anyone too crazy, except for Tsitsipas, who hasn't been all that incredible. He's played a lot of tie breaks. Every match he's played in so far has had one, except for the one against Tommy Paul. Tirante has only played qualies here, has only made it past Jesper de Jong, which is impressive. Vavassari, he couldn't get by. We saw him in Adelaide, I think, as well. Yeah. So, I guess somehow he got a wild card. I don't know what this is, but they've played before. 2 years ago, and Vukic beat him in straight sets. I see more of the same happening. Vukic surprised me how good he plays at home. So, I don't think that he's going to let off the gas now that he's playing on the biggest stage. He is at home. Right? He's a minus 225 to win. I'm not mad at it. I like it. I think he can get a win here. I think it's an easy win, honestly. Tirante, I don't know if he has much of a hardcourt repertoire. Yeah, he went 14-7 last season. Made it to a few, made it to a final. A challenger final. Managed to get a set, but couldn't win the entire thing. Shame. It's got a 62% win rate. Vukic has a 53% win rate. I would stay away from the match, honestly. I don't like that anymore. We'll move on. All right, our next match is Mackenzie McDonald going against Alex de Minaur. The Demon is back. 2026. And as you can imagine, they do have some history. They played each other 3 times. Straight up wins for de Minaur all 3 times. He drops a set to him somehow. But I guess when you just counterpunch back to counterpunch and counterpunch back, you can end up with a set. I don't know. This is the first time they're playing each other in a slam. de Minaur is going to be quite serious. I can see the set spread being 3-1, 3-0. So I would take the minus 1.5 for de Minaur if it's worth any motherfucking thing. Quite doubtful, though. Him winning in straights is minus 158, so yeah. He's minus 2,100 to win. I think you can take his over total games, though. The over 19.5, I think, can happen. It's plus 126, bro. Mackenzie McDonald has gotten a set in the last 7 matches he's played. No, wait a minute. He's gotten a set in every match he's played since October 15th. Even when he loses, he still gets a set. That means that he has to push de Minaur over that. I like that. I actually like that a lot. That's actually, I fucking like that a lot. Okay, let's move on. It's a little gold mine right there. All right, let's move on to our next match. Almost through this, guys. Almost through this. We have Adrian Manarino going against Rinky Hijikata. Our French lefty going against our Aussie in Aussie land. Have they played each other before? This is their third head-to-head. Rinky actually beat him last year in Dallas, 7-5, 6-3. Manarino was able to get the best of him in Newport back in 2023. I think he learned how to deal with that pace. So I think this is actually going to be a long match. I think Manarino might lose, safe to say. He hasn't been playing all too well. He's on a 2-4-6 match losing streak. And Rinky only lost to Foki, which was expected. Here, I don't know if it's as expected for him to lose. He has been someone who we're like, do we bet on him? Do we do it? Do we touch him? I think we can here. I think this is a safe place for him. He's minus 160. If you want to play him on DraftKings Fantasy, be my guest. I think this is that's a great place to play him, actually. Probably get him for a great price. And, yeah, it's 1-1 between them, but I think Rinky learned from the first time, and then he'll probably do more of the same because they're playing on a similar surface, which is the hard court. And Manarino went 16-16 last year. Rinky went 20-17. He did participate in a few slams and did do pretty decently. We saw him where? What was that? Not the U.S. Open. Where was he playing fucking Ben Shelton? Was it the Australian Open? No, it was Wimbledon. Yeah. I remember that shit. Yeah, so he beat David Goffin in the first round. 6-3, 6-1, 6-1. So, I don't know, man. I think Ricky's good money here. But we can move on. Now, this is gonna be a good one. All right, so we have Martin Damm Jr. going against Valentin Vacherot. This is going to be their first head-to-head. The tall American, 22 years old, ranked 177, is going to be going against, left-handed, may I remind you, against the Masters-winning Valentin Vacherot, who lost to Foki in straight sets in Adelaide last week. Still surprising a bit to me, but hey, was able to get through Medjedovic with not much of a hitch. We've seen Martin Damm playing, only dropped a single set so far since being here. We did see him a little bit in the U.S. Open because he almost beat Tiafoe. But beat Darwin Blanche, another lefty, who's like the baby Ben Shelton, if you didn't know that. Darwin Blanche, look him up. Vacherot has an incredibly good record against lefties. I'm going to just start with that. And as well as big servers, which is Martin Damm's whole thing. He's a big serving lefty. So I think this is an easy win for Vacherot here. I don't know what it's priced at. I think we're going to get a bad price for him, to be quite frank. Minus 220. Wow. Wow. That's awesome. Cool. So we can do that. Okay. Won't stick on that too much longer. Martin Damm hasn't really gotten too far. Got to a final and a challenger in Charlottesville. Outside of that, losing to Rafael Hodar, the next-gen player, in the final. There's not much else he's really done, so I think that this is going to be a pretty easy win for Mr. Vacherot. All right, let's move on. Another great match. We have Jaume Munar going against Dalibor Surfchina. And this is going to be their first head-to-head. Oh, I'm sorry, the third. They played in a challenger back in 2023, and they played in the Australian Open in the first round. Crazy enough. And Surfchina beat him 6-3, 6-2, 6-2. But that was before he became this new Munar. Top 40 in the world. And Cercina's on a 4-match losing streak. Give me Munar. Minus 1.5 set spread. Yeah, he hasn't been playing incredibly, but beating Cerundolo and Altmaier, getting his. Actually, he's been playing well. I'll take that back. He's been playing well. Look at those highlights with him and Cerundolo. I put my money on that guy against Cercina, and then looking at, I don't even know. We can't even get Cercina to get past qualies in the first round anywhere. So, what are we talking about? Give me Munar. Minus 1.5 set spread. What's it priced at? Jesus. Okay. Well, him winning in straights is plus 134, so it's probably like minus 110, 118. I gotta find it somewhere else. Okay. Minus 175. It's a good price. All right. Our next match that we're going to be going into is Daniel Altmaier going through Misolic. And they've yet to play each other. 10 years apart. Altmaier with the one-handed backhand. Silic with the big serve. Altmaier has been playing a bit badly. He's been double bageled recently, so, I mean, stay away from that, honestly. And Silic, not too much better. Lost to Otto Vertinen in a challenger back in November, but coming into Hong Kong, he lost to Nuno Borges. Got pretty close. Covered a spread, I'm sure. No, not at all. I don't like either of these people playing in this match, so I wouldn't bet on either one of them. They didn't have the best hard court season last year. Both of them had negative records, so best is just stay away from this one altogether. And let's move on to our next match, which is going to be Terrence Ottman, Scary Terry, going against, what's this guy's name? Maestrelli? Francisco Maestrelli. They've yet to play each other. He's ranked 141. Terrence Ottman's ranked 64. We've been seeing a really bad Terrence Ottman. Let's just be honest. So, we haven't really seen him since Cincinnati, and I think we can just say that was then. That was a spur of the moment thing, and it's done. Because we can't really call him scary. He's scary to me now. I'm scary to bet on him for sure. So I will be staying away from it. This Francisco guy just came off of winning a challenger in November. He's been undefeated in the qualies. This could be a headache for Mr. Ottman. He could lose in straights and be a crazy upset. I don't know what the prices is for him. Let's see what the price is for Ottman and this other guy. Plus 164 for Maestrelli. Minus 205 for Ottman. If he wins, good for him. But we're not going to be entertaining that today. And Maestrelli doesn't really have a great record against lefties, if I'm not mistaken. He's decent against them, but Anyone beyond like rank 200, he's not. Anyone above rank 200, he's not beating with ease. So he may struggle with Atman. That's something to keep in mind. Should we have next? Got about 4 or 5 matches left, guys. Come on, get through this. All right, we got Bu Inchakete. Oh, sorry. Denis Shapovalov going against Bu Inchakete. And first head-to-head. Denis has been in a little bit of a cold spell. He lost to Coleon in the first round in Brisbane and lost to Fonseca. We remember that. That was huge. Then we have Bu, who lost to Basaveretti in qualies. So, and also lost to Coleman Wong in the Seoul Challenger. Spin a week and some change since then. So I think that maybe out of the two of them, Shapovalov gets the win, just because even though Bu has a better record, not a terrible record against lefties, Shapovalov ended the season in better form. And coming into this match, I would think that Shapovalov will win, honestly, but it's hard to say here. Just because they're 103 ranks apart, there could always be something else happening. So I'm not too concerned about who comes out on top in this match. I'm sure it's going to be Mr. Shapovalov, but I'm not going to be putting any money on it. All right. And to move on, our next match is going to be Yuri Lehechka. Mr. Yuri Lehechka going against Arthur Gia, or Arthur Guy. And this is going to be their first head-to-head. Yuri is going against this kid who has just come off of winning a challenger in France, and now he's undefeated here in Melbourne. Has been winning 6-2, 6-3 in every match in qualies. This French 21-year-old filling himself on a 7-match win streak. 8-match win streak. Then we have Yuri, who's retired against Sebastian Korda. Over 3.5 sets. Where is it? God damn it. Minus 140. Yeah, I'm sure the kid is like good. But all I need him to be is good enough to take a set. So if Yuri's not healthy, that probably will be the outlier. But I think he may have retired just to get rest for this tournament, not because he's actually hurt. I think it actually was his ankle. Let me see. Yeah, his right ankle. So maybe, just maybe, don't touch this match because he might forfeit, or whatever you think Yuri's going to do, he might not do because he's not fully healthy. Like, he had a ankle injury 6 days ago. He's going to be running on that ankle for the next 2 weeks if he stays here. So I don't know if that's the smartest thing to do to bet on him. I'll stay away from that. We can move on to our late matches. We have Alexei Popyrin going against Alex Muller. And Popyrin is finally home. He gets to play in Aussie land, but he doesn't really perform well here, does he? He hasn't been performing quite well at all this season, but maybe he can turn things around at home. I'm rooting for him to get a win here. Going against the French Muller. They played each other once before. Popyrin beat him 6-4, 6-4, but that was 6 years ago. So we will see what we get from these two. Popyrin, like I said, has not been quite convincing. Muller, on the other hand, a bit more, but not too much. Lost to Marcus Giron back-to-back. Doesn't tell me much. Losing to Riley Opelka in straight sets doesn't tell me much. So I don't really want to touch either of these guys. I'll just let them rock out, and whoever comes out on top, good for them. Alright, our next match that we're going to get into is going to be Pedro Martinez going against Novak Djokovic. You get to play each other, but this is our first time seeing Djoko since he's won Athens, the ATP 250 back in November, and Martinez won a challenger on the hard court, and I don't even know where the fuck this is, in Bengaluru. I don't know where that is. So, winning a challenger does not mean you're going to be beating Djokovic. And the last time he was in the U.S. Open or any hard court major, he got swept by Leandro Reedy. So, straight set wins for Djokovic is probably worth little to nothing, but you know he's going to get the win here, guys. Let's not even play around. Minus 3,000. Straight set win for Djoko. It costs what? Minus 215. Cool. Alright, we'll move on to our last match. And that's going to be Matteo Bellucci going against Casper Ruud. And they have yet to play each other, I believe. Matteo Bellucci is a lefty. So, let's see how Casper does against lefties. I forgot to look up how he does against them. But Bellucci's been playing pretty badly recently, so it won't really matter anyway. He's great against lefties. So, Casper Ruud, probably under total games because of Bellucci's form recently. He has one win, and his last win dates back to the 1st of October. So, not in good form. Coming into the new year, we'll have to just see for ourselves, but I can see Casper Ruud getting this done here. He had his little fuck-around matches in the United Cup in Auckland. I think he's going to get it done here. What's he priced at? Minus 450. DraftKings Fantasy it is. Alright, so that concludes everything for today, dude. I'm winded after that. That's a lot. So this is the rundown for the rest of the week, okay? I work a fuck ton. Like a fuck ton this week. I'm only going to have like 4 hours of free time in between my shifts. And I work from the morning up until when the matches start in the evening. So I will have to somehow get these videos out to you guys. Like, I don't even know when. I'm thinking about it now. I guess tomorrow when I put the video up, I gotta do the video for tomorrow and the next day, which is probably going to be a 2-hour long video. So I don't know, man. I'm going to be this is the beginning of the season, but this is what we do it for. This is getting drained playing and watching and betting on tennis. So I'm trying to prepare myself for this mentally. It's a lot of work to do on top of the work I have to do in real life. But hey, to be a man of the people, to be a gator of the swamp, costs some things. Pride is not one of them. So I will be on my way preparing these picks for you guys, which will take even more time. But I appreciate you guys sticking around for an hour and 5 minutes with me. All right. Hopefully you guys get some good picks. Put them in the comments for me. I'll catch you guys tomorrow for an even longer one. All right? Take care. Happy Australian Open, and peace.